Today on Meet Me for Coffee, I'm joined by the unmistakable voice behind one of the defining rock sounds of the 2000s, Paul McCoy of 12 Stones, from chart-topping hits to songs that blended faith, struggle, and massive emotion. Paul's music has connected with fans around the world for more than 2 decades. Paul, thanks for joining us this evening.
Thanks for having me, man. It's my absolute pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it's great to see you guys back in action, but I want to talk about your career and your legacy as a band. When you look back at the early 2000s rock explosion, what do you think 12 Stones did differently that helped you stand out?
I don't know that we did anything necessarily differently. We were young and willing to do just about anything. We would play in front of two people in a parking lot. It didn't matter. So I think we were just young and hungry and ready to try to take on the world.
Yeah, it's called cutting your teeth, as we say back in the old band days. And
Yes, indeed.
was there a specific moment where you realized this band is actually breaking through?
Yeah, there were lots of them. Again, we were so young. To me, like just being able to be on tour with some of the bands that like I listened to in my car on the way to school and stuff. I think one of the first times it really hit me, I was in catering on one of the big arena tours, and Jerry Cantrell from Alice in Chains was in catering, in line, waiting for food, just like me. And I was like, what is happening? Like I'm literally standing in line next to Jerry Cantrell, and it was he doesn't even. I mean, I don't think I ever said a word, but that was like idol moment for me as being in his presence and stuff like that. So yeah, just becoming peers with some of the guys that I just loved listening to their music and being on the road with Creed and Three Doors Down and guys like that that really helped shape our growth.
Yeah, I had a moment like that with Zach Wild once, where like I took a picture. They had the Black Label Society, fan meet and greet thing, and it was like, holy cow, like this is really cool. I was a huge fan of Ozzy growing up. Which 12 Stones song feels the most personal to you today? That's what I wanted to ask you out of almost everything I thought about asking you during this show.
Man, I'll be honest with you, all of the songs we write are very personal. I say 90% of them are personal to me. But I don't know. I feel like a lot of them, Anthem for the Underdog is a personal one. I grew up, I was born deaf in my left ear. I was picked on a lot. I had a lot of issues growing up with health stuff, and I was always bullied and picked on when I was coming up first, second grade. And then I grew up, I got bigger than everybody else, and I started sticking up for the little guys and the little gals, and kind of putting bullies in their place. And it kind of shaped me into being a little bit of a vigilante, I think, growing up, where I have two little sisters, I have a daughter. So I grew up in the place of like, got to protect, so you got to watch out for the little ones. So, it kind of helped shape me that way. I think Anthem kind of signifies that. It's just about all of us sticking together and taking on the big evils out there.
Is there a song that your fans might misunderstand that comes to mind?
I mean, yeah, I feel like it, to be honest, I think a lot of people thought that all of our music is Christian music and everything we write about is like, I try not to really say too much about what the songs are about to me personally, because I want each listener to be able to draw their own storyline to what the song means to them. I think it's important that people are allowed to hear music the way they want to hear it. I mean, maybe a lot of them have been misinterpreted from the way that I wrote it, but I think that's perfectly awesome, actually, to be able to have them have their own versions of what it means.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's like an escape for each individual in an individual way of, sometimes repeating the same word is kind of unspoken, in the broadcasting world, but that's the perfect saying, man. It's the escape of music is unlike anything else, right? It really, it can help you. It can get you through some different situations in your life, and for the most part, it won't hurt you, man. So, your music has always carried spiritual and emotional weight, like we spoke about. Uh, Has your perspective on faith changed over the years?
Yeah, I mean, in certain ways, I think my faith in humanity has changed a lot. I think that that's what ruins the thought of organized religion for me is the people part of it. That's gonna sound psychotic maybe, but I believe that like all you're no one none of us know what we're doing. None of us know what really happens in life and afterwards and all these things. So it's like everyone's trying to tell you what to think and believe. I think everybody needs to find their own way and start doing their own research and not just getting in line and being like, well, they said this, so let's go this way. I mean, it causes so much division in people. It's red or blue, it's up or down, it's all these things where it's like, man, people just we're ruining it for everyone else, and it's a collective thing. It's not just a few people. It's all of us. We're all just gotten so caught up in the conveniences of modern day life that we forgot how to just be decent human beings, it seems.
You know what? Everybody has that second thought about faith and always questions himself and the story. And you're not the only one, my friend. And especially during this time, I feel there is a space in rock music still for deeper messages, even though there's like an algorithm driven world. Um, I feel like there's a resurgence of of some kind with rock music right now, and I spoke about that earlier last week after I checked out this guy Hardy live. I don't know if you know who he is, but obviously
Yeah,
you
I do.
probably do. Hell of a singer, and I think in country music is going to have one of the biggest moments ever because rock fans and country fans, I think I can't even name a handful of times as this happened, maybe one or two times, but we're all going towards the same point right now. We're all kind of meshing together and blending genres, and it's going to be awesome. But what's harder now for you, breaking a band in 20, 2002 or 2026?
Well, 2002 was easy because we were just in the right place at the right time. I'll never sit here and tell anybody that we had a plan that worked. We didn't set out. I definitely didn't think back then that I'd be sitting here 25 years later having this conversation with you. We picked the band name strictly to have something to put on the flyer for that first show. We weren't expecting to go more than a few weekends, I guess, but here we sit, and I think now I'm still of the old school mentality where it's go make a song that you're proud of that has substance. We feel like you have a platform, have something to say. Then you go on the road, you plug in, you turn it all the way up, you get loud, you get crazy, you try to win people over, make some new friends, and then you go on. I'm not one to sit here and go, oh, well, the algorithm, I've got to post it exactly 11:02 and I gotta it's crazy to me the techie stuff you have to know now to break a band versus just being, a good song is always going to be a good song, but now there's so much more involved with it than just writing and releasing music as a musician.
You're right, totally right. And it's been 6 years, man, since the last single. Golden Child is your newest single, brand new, released this year. What's it all about, man? Like, what's the story behind it?
Golden Child is just kind of it's one of those songs that makes you think about relationships and not all like romantic relationships, just all relationships. And I think a lot of times that we're so comfortable with the memory and holding on to the positive thoughts of a relationship that we can't see the forest for the trees. We can't see people for who they are, who they've grown to be, who they've devolved into. And I say that about myself as much as anything else, Um, and I think a lot of times we get caught up in the like, you're perfect, you're great, you're everything, but in reality, it's not the case. We overlook everyone's faults until it's too late and it becomes an issue.
Yeah, the Golden Child has a deep emotional theme about perception and truth, and you can talk about what inspired that message, and it's Was it written like first as like an idea? Did you start working on it years ago, or like what caused this like the spark after a long process of like almost a hiatus in singles?
Honestly, I didn't, after we did the Smoke and Mirrors Volume 1 EP in 2020, I kind of thought that might be it. I thought it might not have even been that, to be honest. We then during the pandemic we released that, and then life happens. A lot of us, and most people might not know this, but most bands of our caliber and similar, we all have regular jobs. We all have normal things we have to do to keep the lights on because these days, along with all the algorithms and things you have to worry about, there's no money in being a professional musician. So guys that like, I want to start a band and I'm going to go tour. I'm going to do, it's crazy. Like today, in these times, it's pretty wild thought. But yeah, man, I think for me, I always am writing. So I had the music for this maybe a year or two for Golden Child, and I was working on it with some local friends here. And then this kind of the word just started flowing out. And initially, I had a different chorus, and then I sat with my good buddy Blair Daly, a phenomenal songwriter out of Nashville, and we moved some things around and put things in the right place, and it came out, and I was like, man, all right, that's where I want it to be. So yeah, I won't rush a song. I will sit on a piece of music for a decade if that's what I feel it needs to marinate before I just slap lyrics on it just for the sake of, well, I have this music, let me just put this together. I would rather just sit on it for an eternity until the right thing happens to make it the right song.
Absolutely, and I bet you that moment where you're like, all right, I think this is it. This is happening. Um, was so almost relieving to you, right? It's like now we're ready to rock and roll. So I'm assuming there's more singles coming down the pipe too, right?
Yeah, we've got another one with Judge and Jury that's coming out in about a month or so. And then after that, I've got an album's worth of material. I've just got to get it recorded. And I'm planning on putting out a record this year. So I don't know how many songs it will be, but it will be this year. And once now that we've started by dropping Golden Child, I don't plan on stopping until I'm out of material. And the well runs deep right now, so I'm happy to get ready to put some stuff out.
Absolutely fantastic, man. It's great to hear that you guys are back on track and with so many bands now in the rock universe. I do agree with you. There is a I think 2026 with all the shows being booked this year is the year where everybody is starting to go back out to see these concerts, and it feels good. I was just at that Hardy concert, like I mentioned earlier, and I'm going to go see Megadeth next week, but
Nice.
I'm excited to go, man. I know that it'll be a packed house and people are going to want to go, and I think the people in the music industry booking these shows are really excited as well because they're like, hey, this is going to happen this year. Let's start booking shows and tours, and it's going to go wild, and it's going to be an awesome year for you guys, man. I really feel it.
I'm hoping so. We're geared up. We're doing rehearsals. Like I said, we got a lot of songs going, tons of merch that we're moving. I mean, that's what bands are these days. We're traveling t-shirt salesmen. So we've got bins full ready to move, and I bought a van and a trailer, and we're gonna load it up and just go where they call. We're ready to hit the road. John and I are gonna be doing some acoustic shows coming up, and then a bunch of full band stuff. Doing the Creed Summer of '99 cruise, and then out with Makes My Blood Dance and Power Man 5000 April and May, and staying busy after that too. So lots happening on the live and the recorded front.
That's awesome. Power Man 5000. What are you going to do when the worlds collide, my friend?
I know. So we have a song called Worlds Collide also. So I'm like, do we have to change the title? I know, and I'll say this, I have never been the creative song naming guy. You know what I mean? It's usually one word, and it's usually the word I say the most in the song. It just helps my old brain remember. So I remember when we put our second record out, our first single was called Far Away, and our second single was called Photograph. in that same exact time frame, Nickelback released their first single was called Photograph, and their second single was called Far Away. And I'm like, man, like we just, I got to be more creative with these song titles, I think.
How many song titles have you seen that are the same as others and they do just as well? I mean, it just depends on the following of the band and how well that song is written, I guess, how who it touches when they first hear it. And sometimes that late night drive, we hear it on Sirius XM or whatever radio station you're listening to, or maybe just in that morning where you wake up, you're having a hard time, and a 12 Stones song comes on, and it's like, who is this? And it's like, oh, it's 12 Stones, right? Or I'm
Yeah,
putting it on myself. Uh,
yeah.
Brother, this has been great. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode, man. I wish you guys all the luck in the world, and I'm looking forward to more music.
Thank you very much. Thanks for taking the time out to chat with me, and hope to catch you out there on the road here pretty soon.